Shortly before the French Revolution, dishes like bouchées à la reine gained prominence. Essentially royal cuisine produced by the royal household, this is a chicken-based recipe served on volume au vent created under the influence of Queen Marie Leczinska, the wife of Louis XV. This recipe is still popular today, as are other recipes from Queen Marie Leczinska like consommé à la reine and filet d'Aloyau braisé à la royale. Queen Marie is also credited with introducing lentils to the French diet. The French Revolution was integral to the expansion of French cuisine, because it abolished the guild system. This meant anyone could now produce and sell any culinary item he wished. Bread was a significant food source among peasants and the working class in the late 18th century, with many of the nation's people being dependent on it. In French provinces, bread was often consumed 3 times a day by the people of France. According to Brace, bread was referred to as the basic dietary item for the masses, and it was also used as a foundation for soup. In fact, bread was so important that harvest, interruption of commerce by wars, heavy flour exploration, and prices and supply were all watched and controlled by the French government. Among the underprivileged, constant fear of famine was always prevalent. From 1725 to 1789, there was 14 years of bad yields to blame for low grain supply. In Bordeaux, during 1708 to 1789, 33 bad harvests occurred. Marie-Antoine Carême was born in 1784, 5 years before the Revolution. He spent his younger years working at a patisserie until he was discovered by Charles Maurice de Talleyrand Périgord, who would later cook for Napoleon Bonaparte. Prior to his employment with Talleyrand, Carême had become known for his pieces montés, which were extravagant constructions of pastry and sugar architecture. More important to Carême's career was his contribution to the refinement of French cuisine. The basis for his style of cooking was his sauces, which he named mother sauces. Often referred to as fonds, meaning foundations. These base sauces, espagnole, velouté, and béchamel, are still known today. Each of these sauces was made in large quantities in his kitchen, then formed the basis of multiple derivatives. Carême had over 100 sauces in his repertoire. In his writings, soufflés appear for the first time. Although many of his preparations today seem extravagant, he simplified and codified an even more complex cuisine that existed beforehand. Central to his codification of the cuisine were Le Maître de Hôtel Français (1822), Le Cuisinier Parisien (1828), and L'Art de la cuisine française au XIX siècle (1833–5). Georges-Auguste Escoffier is commonly acknowledged as the central figure to the modernization of haute cuisine and organizing what would become the national cuisine of France. His influence began with the rise of some of the great hotels in Europe and America during the 1880s to 1890s. The Savoy Hotel managed by César Ritz was an early hotel in which Escoffier worked, but much of his influence came during his management of the kitchens in the Carlton from 1898 until 1921. He created a system of «parties» called the Brigade System, which separated the professional kitchen into 5 separate stations. These 5 stations included the «garde manger» that prepared cold dishes, the «entremetier» prepared starches and vegetables, the rôtisseur prepared roasts, grilled and fried dishes, the saucier prepared sauces and soups, and the pâtissier prepared all pastry and desserts items. This system meant that instead of one person preparing a dish on one's own, now multiple cooks would prepare the different components for the dish. An example used is «Oeufs au plat Meyerbeer». The prior system would take up to 15 minutes to prepare the dish, while in the new system, the eggs would be prepared by the entremetier, kidney grilled by the rôtisseur, truffle sauce made by the saucier, and thus the dish could be prepared in a shorter time and served quickly in the popular restaurants. Escoffier also simplified and organized the modern menu and structure of the meal. He published a series of articles in professional journals which outlined the sequence, and he finally published his Livre des menus in 1912. This type of service embraced the service à la Russe, serving meals in separate courses on individual plates, which Félix Urbain Dubois had made popular in the 1860s. Escoffier's largest contribution was the publication of Le Guide culinaire in 1903, which established the fundamentals of French cookery. The book was a collaboration with Phileas Gilbert, E. Fetou, A. Suzanne, Dietrich, A. Calais and others. The significance of this is to illustrate the universal acceptance by multiple high-profile chefs to this new style of cooking. Le Guide culinaire de-emphasized the use of heavy sauces and leaned toward lighter fumés, which are the essence of flavor taken from fish, meat and vegetables. This style of cooking looked to create garnishes and sauces whose function is to add to the flavor of the dish, rather than mask flavors like the heavy sauces and ornate garnishes of the past. Escoffier took inspiration for his work from personal recipes in addition to recipes from Carême, Dubois and ideas from Taillevent's Viander, which had a modern version published in 1897. A second source for recipes came from existing peasant dishes that were translated into the refined techniques of haute cuisine. Expensive ingredients would replace the common ingredients, making the dishes much less humble. The third source of recipes was Escoffier himself, who invented many new dishes, such as pêche melba and crêpes Suzette. Escoffier updated Le Guide culinaire 4 times during his lifetime, noting in the foreword to the book's first edition that even with its 5,000 recipes, the book should not be considered an. And that even if it were at the point when he wrote the book, it would no longer be so tomorrow, because progress marches on each day.
And that is the reason I remind you again to subscribe this channel and get the best foodie videos on your main screen. Thanks for watching, see you on the next.